we've worked really hard, particularly over the last few years, to increase teacher compensation in the state of Florida, and we've done really in a couple of ways. I mean, we did do last year $1,000 bonuses for every teacher and principal in the entire state of Florida for public schools, both school districts and charter schools. But we also wanted to increase salaries, and so one of the goals we've had is to increase the average minimum salary across the state of Florida. You want to recruit more people to come in, they got to be able to afford to be able to be teachers. And in Florida, we're very good at having very low tuition at our state universities. We don't let them raise it. You don't need to go $100,000 in debt to get a degree from a state university in Florida. We're proud of that. Nevertheless, it's not necessarily true for every place across the country. So we thought that was something, that would be really, really meaningful. And we started on that even before the Bidenflation. Now you have really significant inflation. It makes it that much more difficult. And it's not just teachers, police officers, other folks, that we've really worked hard to support. This is important. And so what we've been able to do over the last 3 years is do about $2 billion for increased teacher compensation across the variety of initiatives that we've been able to do. In 2020, we announced that we wanted to be in the top 10 states for average minimum salary. We're very close. Well, we are in the top 10, and we're doing very, very well with that. In this year's budget, which I am officially today approving this line item, we did $800 million for teacher pay initiatives. And this is something that will go a long way, not only to continue to support strong average minimum salaries across the state, but also to support increased salaries for veteran teachers. And so you're going to have more money into this kitty for both of those than we've ever had in modern Florida history. And so we're excited about that. If you think about what we've been able to do to reward teachers with bonuses, increase salaries, think about just the average minimum. You want to get somebody in college, say go into teaching, that it's a noble profession. People understand you're not going to necessarily be a billionaire doing this, but you need to be able to make ends meet. Only 12% of school districts across the United States have teachers start at over $40,000. So 88% are below that. In Florida, what is it, Richard? 92% of ours are already above that. Some of them, we have very, very rural districts that we've brought up a lot because they were in like we had some probably like 35,000, right? 34. So that's gone up thousands and thousands of dollars. And so we're really way ahead of the curve nationally on that issue. And so we're excited about doing this. Part of it was we understood it was important. And then when COVID hit, and we were the only major state in the country in August of 2020 to say our schools are open. Full-time, 5 days a week, our kids have a place, and we gave the parent the option as to what they wanted to utilize or not. But so many kids had the schoolhouse doors shut on them for months and months and even a year or more due to really, I think, destructive policies. And so Florida said, we're going to put our kids first, we're going to be there, and we understood that required a lot of work by the administrators, by the principals, and then of course by the teachers. Most of the teachers were saying the remote is just not good enough, and the kids are falling behind. So even though you had unions sue us in the state of Florida to try to make the schools close, we said be open, but most of the teachers were saying, we need to be back. And so it was good. So we're excited to be able to do this, and we're excited to say that the legislature has delivered great $800 million line item for has to go to increase teacher compensation. And this is not the exclusive amount that teachers will see. We have a record amount of per pupil funding in the budget, and the highest base student allocation. I think we've never had that, what we have. And so that gives school districts the ability to do even more. And so we'd encourage them to do just that. And so we're building off a lot of success. We just had the signing of the bill for the FSA elimination, and that we're moving to progress monitoring. You know, here at Renaissance, they've been using progress monitoring to help their students. This is K through 8. With individual learning plans, and they've had high degree of success. We also highlighted last year Lakewood Elementary in Pinellas County. They went from an F to an A within 2 years of using progress monitoring. And so what we're doing with this change from FSA to progress monitoring is we're taking advantage of new technology, innovation that's happened in this space over the last many years. We're also listening to teachers and parents and students about what's the most effective way to do it. I was surprised just when Richard was telling me how much time went into preparing just for the FSA. I mean, weeks and weeks they would go into it to cram for basically one test. We think the progress monitoring is going to be much more effective. It's going to give you meaningful feedback. You'll actually be able to remediate if there's deficiencies instead of getting the results over the summer when school's already out, and that builds up throughout the school year. So that's a huge, huge change. And then this, with what we've been able to deliver for increased teacher compensation, is really, really significant. And that's not even discussing, I mean, there's a lot of other significant education initiatives that we've passed that we'll be highlighting over the next many, many weeks. Today, though, we want to highlight this and approve this $800 million for the teacher compensation, and we also want to be able to have some of our speakers come up and talk about what this may mean. So we'll let Principal Glinton come up, and floor is yours.
Thank you. Good morning. Good morning, everyone, and welcome, Governor, to Renaissance Charter School at Wellington and your staff, who's been so gracious while they've been with us. I just want to take, on behalf of CSUSA and our CEO, John Hage, to just welcome you to our school and just thanking the governor for this initiative. You know, what's really nice about this for teachers is that you made a commitment to our teachers that we would raise the base pay and sustain a living for our teachers, and it's very important. I held like some intimate talks with our teachers when the first round of the monies were coming, and they were trying to understand it a little bit more. And one of the teachers said something that was really insightful. She's like, you know, I want you to say thank you because now teachers can buy a steak dinner to eat. And I'm like, yeah, that's nice. Teachers should be able to eat steak dinners. And even in a foodie world, even if it's vegan steak, we should be able to buy that, right? So this means a lot. But from a leadership perspective, when I'm looking for good talent to hire, you know, I don't want salary to be the deciding factor that a teacher won't join our organization because they can't afford to do so. So leveling that field, I can't tell you how important that is. So thank you for your initiatives, and we look forward to what's coming next.
Sure.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Okay, Ms. Barrow, fifth grade teacher, do you want to come up?
Oh, thank you, Governor.
Sure.
Good morning. I also want to say thank you. Me being a veteran, not just from the Army, but a veteran teacher, people talk about salaries, but in my opinion, educators are the backbone of America. Historically, teachers have not just taught math, science, reading, but we've taught morals, we've taught ethics. Oftentimes, I remind people that teachers are not just the educators, we are the youth pastors. We are the mental health clinicians in the classroom, at our level, of course. And by this initiative happening, it's not about if we have a salary, but it's can a teacher pay their light bill? Can a teacher pay their water bill? Can a teacher give that kid that doesn't have food at home an extra snack or an extra bag of chips to put in their backpack and not at the expense of their own home? So thank you, Governor, for making it known that teachers are not just glorified daycare assistants and babysitters, but we also are a profession, and we should be respected, and we should be paid at the level that represents the values, the morals, and the character of who we are in the United States of America. Thank you.
Okay, Lauren, you want to come up? Go ahead.
Hello. I just wanted to say thank you. And during COVID, at least we have something good that came out of it. And it's nice that teachers are being appreciated. I don't think people understand how much we actually work. I mean, I put countless hours. Spring break was here. I work every single day, nights, weekends. People think that we're just have great hours. We're off on the summer. But I mean, I truly, love my students. I'm constantly thinking of things, to help teach them. So it's very nice to feel appreciated and be respected. Thank you.
Okay, and the Commissioner of Education, Richard Corcoran.
Thank you, Governor. Thank you very much. I just want to say it's a great honor to be here and to, with this announcement, just an amazing announcement. But I think what's very, very clear, and the Governor said this early on in his tenure, is we want to elevate and celebrate teachers. And the reason for that is if you look, and I just wanted to give a shout out to John and Eddie, are just fantastic partners. Numerous times we called them and asked them, and you guys voluntarily shared your progress monitoring data, which helped us make the decision to move away from the FSA to progress monitoring, looking at the results of those exams. But you guys are very great partners. But what we know is that elevating and celebrating teachers, it's the single most important factor to the success of a child. You said it. Not only is K-12 education the backbone of America, the backbone of the backbone are teachers. And so you take the national, international test, we score in the mid-20s, mid-30s, richest country in the history of mankind, by the way, in math, science, and English, where we score really well. And people always talk about it in international circles. Wow, we have the prettiest buildings. Our buildings are the nicest ever. We have the nicest technology. We have tech everywhere. But at the end of the day, the bottom line is, and it's a famous adage, is if you have a great teacher, you can teach Plato under a tree.
Yes.
Yes. And so to be here and to see the absolute, going from the bottom 25 in just a short time of the governor's tenure to arguably the top 5. If you start adding in the bonuses and do apples to apples comparisons, and we're now in the top 5 in minimum teacher compensation. And it's well-deserved because it's the most important thing. If we get those world-class teachers in front of our students, we're going to have great results. And so thank you, Governor, for this pouring in this initiative. Thank you to the legislature for you guys' great support for this. And teachers, you're well-deserved and well-earned, and just know that this governor will always celebrate and elevate you.
Thank you.
Yep. So this is a big victory, and I also want to thank the legislature for stepping up. I remember when we launched this initiative several years ago, there was not necessarily universal support for it initially, but I think it's been something that people have grown to really appreciate and feel that it's made a very big difference. Same thing, honestly, with some of the stuff we've done for water quality in Everglades. When I first came out with that, people were like, well, we'll see. Now it's kind of something that is expected to be done, and people are excited about it. So hopefully, this is a great announcement. We are happy to achieve, very positive policy outcome, but we in the ensuing years, expect to do even more. And it's just something that I think is really, really important. So we've been able to step up. We've been able to make a real difference, and we'll continue to do it. And we do appreciate the folks who are working with these kids, and particularly during difficult circumstances. I know this year has been a lot more normal than the 2020 fall, but people have really had to step up across the board in the school system, but particularly our classroom teachers. So we just want to say that we appreciate it, and we hope that this will make a meaningful difference.